Hello everyone, hello friends. Right now we are making history. What's happening on this planet is unique. These are pivotal days between now and roughly the 25th, 26th of May. This is the culmination period. And this chart here shows it all. I will show you how we are getting there. It's quite spectacular the next few days in many ways. Just even the sun alone. I mean, today we're already at 4 large solar flares. Actually, just when I finished recording my earlier one, the one about the solar flares and the supernova, which was found yesterday, there was another big flare, just as I say, an hour ago or so. And Mars is now definitely in Leo as I'm doing this recording. More on that to come. But just in a nutshell, this is the heliocentric square between planet Earth and Mars as seen from the Sun. The Sun here in the center, you have to imagine this is Earth and here is Mars. And what we are seeing here is at that same moment there's a square between Venus and Mercury. Actually, it's not so much exactly a square, but from the angles, this is as relocated to Greenwich, 0 meridian, Venus is rising and Mercury is at the bottom of the chart. The two most important planets in terms of our personal experience in this universe, in this reality, Venus, Mars and Mercury, aside from the Moon and the Sun naturally. Venus and Mercury, the two inner planets representing our way of thinking, our way of understanding, Mercury, and our personal way of feeling and of emoting in this environment we are in. Mind and heart, so to say, representing. So in cardinal signs here, angular. This in itself says this is a very important moment to come, and this is the geocentric chart of that moment. And you wouldn't believe, as seen from Earth, Venus is exactly in midheaven in this moment. You see, it's the exact same moment. You can watch here the time when I'm changing. It's just the two different perspectives. Here Venus is at the ascendant, as seen from the Sun, and here she jumps up to midheaven. Quite spectacular. There's much more to this chart. I wanted to get you started with this one. Let's now roll back and see where we are here, where we started off actually just a few days ago, which was already a huge shift after Jupiter entered Taurus in very fast sequence, with first Mercury turning to direct motion, initiating a new 4-month cycle of understanding of how we handle our mercurial powers. And then Jupiter direct in Taurus, or entering Taurus, and just again a day after that, heliocentric Mars-Saturn opposition, which was cementing everything, putting it in place, giving us the inner structure and the inner orders to march forward and do what is necessary to be done in our personal lives, in our personal environment. That's all which matters. If everyone does that, then things will fall in place, and that's what we are seeing happening everywhere now. It's quite magical to observe, and naturally with astrology I have a bit of a better position as I already see more how things fall in place. But eventually we all will see. Now, one particular power point in astrology is the black moon. I'm often talking about it. It is the place where the moon is farthest away from Earth, where all the unresolved emotional stuff is gathering, and then also wanting to get it as far away as possible from us. Usually that's kind of the shadow. We don't want to look there, we don't want to process it. In Leo, it is right in our face. Leo, the sign of the sun, very loud, spectacular, bringing everything out of the box into the open in a way magnified and big. This is a 9-month period between January the 7th and October the 2nd. That spot where the moon's orbit is elongating the farthest away from Earth is moving over 9 years once around the zodiac, which is very unusual. All other planets have very fixed layout in space of where they are closest and farthest from the sun, which are stable over millions of years. Yes, they're slightly moving too, but very, very slow, versus the moon, once in 9 years, moving all around the zodiac in its direction of axis. So the black moon has reached the center of Leo. Yes, we have built up to this point. It was foreseeable. May would be really the critical time of something big becoming available, breaking open. And this moment of Chariklo is Chiron's wife, as of mythological story. Chiron, naturally the wounded healer, the wise guy, so to say, who knows an answer to everything and anything, and which finally is all about healing and inducing a perspective of wisdom. So Chariklo is his wife, naturally, and the wife, is always standing up to her husband, and likewise there has to be this balance of integrity and of intelligence. So Chariklo has that same flavor on a feminine way, representing midwifery, compassion, being here for one another, holding hands, guiding whomever needs guidance, holding hands, assisting, standing by, all that in the sign of Aquarius since about 2018 and into 2025, for 7 years approximately. So this is really the window of giving birth to this new frequency, this new world, this new earth, which at first is in the background and even more getting into the foreground, even more becoming the dominant force, and whatever the old structure was is fading out and collapsing in self-destruct mode, really, because they're having no clear direction anymore. They're just wild singular actions in all directions, really that beast in its death throes. Now this moment when Chariklo turned direction, maxing out at 1324 for this year, as the sun is moving away, the earth is coming in between, so to say. It's always that polarity of earth-sun. So with earth coming closer in between, because we are moving, earth is moving, Chariklo is now moving backwards for the next few months till the earth has come out on the other end, about to here. Then it will start moving forward again. It's that waving pattern of how we observe all the planets because of our own motion. So the moment when a planet turns direct is always indicative of a new phase, a new phase of expression. And naturally, when the wave goes down, when we reach the maximum, there is the integrative part, whereas when it moves forward, it's an outward motion, it's a diving into new experiences, and then the retrograde is the moment when we start processing whatever has been experienced. So this is the collective moment of starting this processing in terms of being birthed into something new, just coming out of this opposition with the black moon. So it's been pretty intense. I guess there's no one would deny that in all levels, on all fronts. That moment had the galactic center at the IC, the Imum Coeli, the depths of heaven, as this translates, this Latin name, IC, Imum Coeli. The fourth house cusp, the source point. Whenever the galactic center comes in as an angular, then we can be sure this is a very important marker in time, a redirection of energy. And sure enough, with the moon here conjunct Jupiter, just hours after Jupiter turned direct, actually it's 1 day after, but in that window, exactly with Jupiter in that big T-square here with the Mars and the Pluto, which is the main structure, which is just to get more exact over the coming days, as we will see. So this already contains that whole creative tension, that push in new directions, which we are feeling, which is really getting stronger by the day now. So let me see what notes I made here, what I wanted to say. Additionally, it is right Ceres here at the ascendant, and that's the equatorial point. It's again about that basic principle of being in tune with nature, being nourished by the elements and by all the natural world around us. That's where our true source of power is flowing into our body, into our electrical field. That's why it's so important to attune to nature, to be out, maybe even barefoot, and really receive that frequency from Earth. Go out, feel the wind, the water, the elements as much as you can. This is where we are recharging. And with Neptune here angular, yes, this is also a time of becoming extremely sensitive, developing skills we don't even know we have, of clairvoyance, clairsentience. All of that is becoming super important to be activated, and it is a natural occurrence when we are in tune within ourselves, when we are at that frequency of lovingness, of connecting with that loving presence which is all about around us and within us. If we allow that frequency to flow in, then we are in tune. As simple as that. So let's now look at what was following this turn around. The Taurus new moon just yesterday. Here is interesting, Chiron again at the 7th house cusp, and Arrokoth here at the 4th house cusp. Arrokoth, the one which is allowing each person who is really wanting to see the whole picture, to understand all the different pieces of the puzzles, how they come together, fit together in the hexagram of Inner Truth 61. And this is a perfectly matching frequency. Arrokoth, by the way, was discovered in 2014 in the aftermath of the New Horizon space mission, which was going out to Pluto, and just a year before Pluto was observed, astronomers were looking for another object to be closely inspected without too much effort, because there was only limited fuel left at this point in this space probe's ability to navigate. So they found this perfect candidate, which is Arrokoth now. Arrokoth in that sense is the farthest distant from Earth celestial object that has been closely inspected. It's 4.4 billion miles away, if I'm correct. So really, really far away. And after the scientists did go through all the data they were gathering on that flyby, actually on January the 1st, 2019, another amazing synchronicity, something which happens on a January 1st is always spectacularly important. So that was 2019, and when they did evaluate all the findings, they had to rewrite the whole so far taught history on this solar system's evolution. Everything had to be rewritten as the findings were so dramatically different, eye-opening. Yes, eye-opening, that's another really good word. A man standing under the open sky. So this Arrokoth is becoming super, super important, has become super important already in the last 2-3 years. And it is increasingly so, most often showing at angles and important junctures. This new moon, yesterday's new moon, conjunct Sedna. I'm covering Sedna more strongly in the previous recording, so I won't go there, but it is bringing wisdom, deep wisdom of past and long distant and far away realities and worlds, all of that in the last degree of Taurus. Just less than a month now, though Sedna is for the first time in thousands of years entering Gemini again, coming into this sign of expressing itself. Will be super, super exciting that time. Again, this will be many decades into the 2060s or so. So look at this, just one day and a few minutes difference. Taurus new moon and Mars enters Leo, practically under the same ascendant and midheaven, same angles, so to say. And if you have a quick peek over here where I have pinned this chart, the one I started before, Earth Mars square heliocentrically, you have most exactly within a degree or so the same angles. So whenever that occurs, yes, this is a mutual reinforcement of these moments. They are becoming one solid unit, how they work together. First we have the new moon, then we have Mars entering Leo, a big moment. Leo is the sign of courage and of valor, of putting our life on the line, literally, to stand for what we believe in, what our values are at heart. It is that fire of intensity and of combustion, as Dane Rudyard calls this first phase of Leo. The combustion, and then the second 15 degrees is the release. So the black moon is just crossing the 15 degree mark soon. So there is really a release coming in a big way of that shadow frequency. That's what we will see over the next few months into early October. then tomorrow, Sunday, Mars will exactly oppose Pluto. So yeah, it's just bang, bang, bang. You will see. This is where they are, the two, Mars and Pluto. And Mars-Pluto, the opposition, that is an extreme amassment of energy being expressed and manifested. It's power play pure, you could call it. And this is again a supercharged axis, that 0 degree Aquarius, where Jupiter and Saturn met in 2020 in December, really initiating that whole Aquarian age. So this plays exactly into this same chapter. Also, the one of the main centaurs, Pholus, which right now these days is here in Capricorn, actually in this degree here. Pholus has its heliocentric, I guess its nodal axis in this degree, so Pholus energy comes in here too, which has that immediacy of action, of saying now is the moment, now or never, kind of. That's part of that first degrees of the fixed signs. They have a very powerful intention to get to their destination. It is a honing in on the essentials with Jupiter here in the center point. Yes, this is what we are seeing right now playing out, at least on the outer level, in the big solar bursts. And mind not, we might have some X-class flares in these coming 2-3 days. That's the perfect signature I have seen in so many of these solar events charts. Mars, Pluto, Jupiter, it's the main ingredients. It is really when powers are exploding, breaking open, when new dimensions are popping up and being pushed in forcefully at times. So this is the energy you probably can pick up too, as we have a geocentric storm happening as we speak, with solar winds above 600 or around 600 kilometers per second. Yeah, the sun's combustion stream constantly nourishing us, keeping us warm. It's like you standing close to a campfire and you're going as close as you can to get your hands warm, your feet warm, and you're feeling the wind which the fire is creating. That's kind of comparing to what Earth experiences, and when the sun is going wild, which it is in this present time of solar maximum, all through 2023 into 2024. There is this higher than normal outbursts of the sun which are rattling Earth's magnetic field, which are bringing new impulses erratically, chaotically. And chaos, as you know, is the original order, which grows out of the sacred geometry of the quantum vacuum. So everything in nature is pure, is perfect, is beautiful, is in balance with everything else around. That's the wonderful thing. And if we tune into nature, we can experience those qualities within us too. So anyway, the moment when we have this big exertion of power coming to its peak, who is rising? Mercury and Venus at the 4th house cusp again. I mean, you can't make that stuff up. Venus and Mercury again, mind and heart. It is literally history is rewritten right now. There's so much revelation, so much inner realization of who we are, why we are here, what is this all about, all of that individually experienced in everybody's life and everybody's private little space of how they stand and be in this world. As I said earlier, you can go back to my recording on May 1st around when I pointed out that very important mutation gate between the basic root chakra and the sacral channel, which is activated by Pluto and Jupiter. Nonetheless, Jupiter in hexagram number 3, difficulty at the beginning, and Pluto in hexagram 60, restraint. Those two working together are building that channel which is experienced by all and everyone right now collectively as a mutational window of fast and swift and unexpected change, quantum jumping. That is what is happening right now, reinforced by all the solar energy and whatnot. So this is tomorrow, and then let's see what else I have here lined up. Then also tomorrow the Sun enters Gemini. You see, that was on the 21st at 3:11:40 a.m. when Mars and Pluto are exactly opposed in universal time, and a few hours later at 7:09 when the Sun will enter Gemini, and who is again at angular position, powerfully dominant in this chart? Venus. It's all about Venus. It always brings us back to Venus, which really, I mean, I said it months ago in October last year when Venus had its superior conjunction exactly behind the Sun, therefore being born as an evening star, which we are now coming into the culminating phases. As you can see, every evening you step out of your door, you look south, west, and you will see Venus dominant there in the sky. It's really beautiful how this Venus cycle comes to full flowering now, which started back in October. And yeah, it's been a wonderful, wonderful opening up on so many levels. Things are happening. I guess there's no question anymore. It's just a matter of persistence, perseverance, patience, and just being there with your presence without censoring yourself, being who you are, powerful here now. That's the recipe. And well, I could say again many things more to this chart. One more thing I want to throw in, that is the comet again, the green comet. The green comet now is here at 20 degrees something Gemini. Actually, I want to show you exactly where it is. I have it right here. That is the 17th of May at 20 degrees and 38 minutes. It will be at midday. So you see, in very close conjunction. And then if we go to this chart, I'm just jumping here a couple because I want to just finish my story and my sentence. Then on the 23rd of May, on Tuesday, next Tuesday, Mars and Jupiter will have their exact square, which is kind of the culminating meeting, because Mars and Jupiter are, Jupiter is the biggest planet naturally, and Mars is our neighbor. So Mars and Jupiter together, that is willful action, that is making something happen it's literally the most creative and hands-on energy of building Mars and Jupiter in an aspect. Very forceful it can be, intent, with great intent, and when that is exact, 21:55 at the ascendant here in Greenwich, in Gemini, and if you now look at where the comet is at this time on this day, 22:06, it is here, you see, can I highlight that? Yeah, it all gets, okay, that doesn't work quite well. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, you get the picture here. Here we go. May 23rd, 22:06 at midday. So pretty dead on. You get the picture, and we have that comet's energy coming in from all angles here and there in these important charts. Also the 16th degree of Aquarius, that is the comet's aphelion. That is where it's literally coming from and where it's going to again. If you do a long-term ephemeris, about 100 years ago it was around 9 degrees Aquarius coming in, and if we go into the future, about 200-300 years in the future, it is leaving around 22 degrees Aquarius. If you take the midpoint between 22 and 9, 31 is 15.5. So you see it's a very Aquarian comet in the first place, as I pointed out, bringing in that Aquarian energy into Leo activation. That's where it was, as naturally as it's coming then around the sun to the other side to deliver. That's where it was at its closest. So anyway, let me just jump back here a little bit. We have the sun in Gemini here, that's tomorrow Sunday, and then shortly after, when the sun crosses the 00730 mark, we enter a very powerful window of 6 days, hexagram 20 and 34. That is, I don't think I have that open right now, but that is that major, the only channel in the human design which connects the sacral with the throat directly through the integration channel. So this is the channel of charisma, of direct manifestation. It comes out of the belly and goes directly into the throat, the center of expression. So this is a super powerful window. We're entering on the 21st of May, literally bringing this, whatever we have been building up, into the open, into manifestation, into expression. That is the sign of Gemini as such, the sign of communication, of exploring both sides of the story. And as the myth is, Castor and Pollux, the two Geminis up in the constellation, they will never meet. That is the interesting sentence there. They are polarized in two different worlds. However, it is that understanding of both these sides which bring the true perspective of what the complexity of truth really is. That is in a nutshell the essence of Gemini, to really step beyond this duality and still juggle with it, and with the sun and the moon both in this sign. circling Juno, which actually is, let's see if I have this chart here at all. Yes, here you see in today's ingress chart of Mars into Leo, the moon was exactly aligned with Juno within 15 minutes of arc. That's really, really exact. So this is another little hint that people are coming together and bonding at that deep emotional level where the moon is at, of being in a natural flow. And then, yes, on the 21st, tomorrow Sunday, when the sun enters hexagram 20, contemplation, and Earth on the other end is in hexagram 34, which is the power of the great. So it is, yeah, it will be quite spectacular what we will see. And again, I don't expect so much to happen in the outer world. We hope nothing of a very difficult occurrence, which is always possible when extremes are manifesting. But I think we are getting really, really good at transmuting energies and turning them around into the right direction, particularly so as right, that's exactly what I wanted to show you, particularly so as AW 197, the one which is able to turn energies around and use a difficult energy, receive it and turn it around, twist it and turn it into something favorable and good. And Mars is just about to tune up, to team up here together with Pallas. This is over the next couple weeks active. So this is again a great time of just go with the flow, allow what's coming your way, and then sit with it, contemplate, allow it to be processed, and then you naturally will be guided to take all of that and move it in a way which is positive, which is beneficial. Taking charge is really the big thing here. So anyway, let's just go back one step here. Right, I guess we covered that. Right, this is another one I wanted to say. Mercury again, angular. Once again, how can you... What can you say? Mercury in the North Node here, and Jupiter all up here. Yes, it's an expansion of mind. And then in the heliocentric here, when the sun enters contemplation. Again, one we had seen many times before in important charts, important moments. Astrea. That feminine energy of standing by, even though she long ago could be in a much better place, enjoying herself up on Mount Olymp with all the other gods. She decided to stay back behind, help humanity to deal with difficult times, to resolve big problems which at that time had been occurring, coming into reality. So rolling sleeves back, getting hands dirty, getting involved, doing what is necessary, that is implied here. We looked at this chart. Well, maybe just one more quick notion of the black moon here at the root of the chart. Yes, it is all about unraveling that shadow, bringing it out into full display, and naturally this is not so easy, particularly for all those who are still oblivious to what is truly going on here. Moon-Venus conjunction, again, a positive, very positive little gift, I would say, of being in a positive, loving mode, as Venus is very happy in Cancer, really expanding that heart energy which we are really so much needing at this time. This is the saving grace. Venus, I keep getting back to that. Venus is really where everything is emerging from, that loving presence, that harmony. We all enjoy the music of the spheres, the sweetness of being in company with nature and of each other, caring, supporting, and feeling, emoting, all of that Venusian qualities. The moon here, again, in this important 14th degree of Cancer, where the New World's sun is July 4th, 1776, Declaration of Independence. Yes, everything points towards that June will be a breakthrough month in the United States. The grassroots will rise to that place where they are becoming so important. They can't be overlooked anymore. They can't be ignored anymore. It is a natural process of rising into power on many levels at once, which on another level said again, you could say, yes, the other side is on self-destruct. This is the next chart I have here for you. The second last year in this sequence is when Mars crosses into hexagram 31, which is leadership, which is taking really the power to stand up and be firm and be number one in the line, do the right thing, and everyone in their right mind will follow. This is Mars in hexagram 31 from 2 degrees up to 7:30, so at least for a week or so. And again, this time Uranus rising, the Moon and Venus now here at the root of the chart. It will be surprising, it will be very colorful, illustrious, unusual, surprising, wild, many new things showing up, popping up, particularly so as Pluto is still in Uranus sign here till June the 11th, in that first important segment which started on March 23rd. So anyway, one more chart here. Well, one more thing I want to say here. We saw Venus and the Moon here flanking the source point, but also the Moon in between Venus and Mars here. Very creative energies giving birth. Again, Venus, Mars, Moon, what more can you say? It's all a natural process. So allow just to be in line with nature and everything will work out. It's as simple as this. Just connect to your heart, connect to your breathing. Don't pay too much attention to your mind. The mind can go wild sometimes because it is overwhelming what is happening, particularly if we listen too much to what is told, which are all opinions really. Truth cannot be told. Remember that was Lao Tzu's great insight. As soon as you're opening your mouth, you're partial. Truth is only experienced in silence, in pure contemplation. That's coming the next 6 days, contemplation. And yes, let me just finish here again with this chart, the heliocentric Earth-Mars square, which really is the concluding alignment in that whole sequence between now and then. The Earth, the Sun, and Mars. Well, the Sun literally is here in the center. Is just from Earth's perspective, the Sun would be over here, but this is the exact square aspect. And if we look at it from a geocentric perspective, then again Venus is the one which rules this chart in the 20th degree of Cancer, and I think I would like to read you this 20th degree in the Sabian symbols. It's really an showing where the focus will be. A Venetian gondolier giving a serenade. So it's about happiness as an overtone of social integration and conformity to custom. Well, conformity to the new custom for sure. This is the chart of a celebration in my understanding. Yes, the moon is approaching here, the black moon. That means we are truly able to see both sides of the coin. This combination, moon and black moon, when they're in an aspect, always opens that door that we are able to sense what's going on that shadow level. And in the conjunction, it is a particular strong connection to all the levels of reality. Again, with that ascendant mid Libra, as we saw here in the earlier charts, in the new moon chart, and then in the one where when Mars entered Leo. Anyway, that's kind of the few charts I have lined up here for you today, and again, thank you for listening, and talk to you soon. Love you all. Bye bye.